Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sophie Erbert. Tim has the night off. Districts across Siouxland tonight making the transition from in-person learning to a hybrid format. Just this week, the Hinton and MMCRU school districts making the decision after seeing an increase in COVID-19 cases in Plymouth County. But it's an opposite trend for the Sioux City Community School District. Just last night, they announced they will transition into the full on-site learning model that begins Tuesday, September 8th. KCAU 9 News reporter Marina Bach spoke with the superintendent this afternoon for us and has more on how they came to that decision. It's our top story at 6.
Yes, Sophie, I spoke with a mother who has a child inside the school district. She said these past few weeks balancing hybrid learning has really been a juggling act for her, being both a mother and an educator. So she's on board with in-person learning so their child can get back to a sense of normalcy.
He absolutely wants to go to school. He enjoys school.
McNaughton's son attends school at Spalding Park Elementary School. He's a child with autism, and she says he thrives in a classroom environment.
He really needs the hands-on learning, being that he's in special ed. He learns faster. It's just all over. He gets to be with his friends. He gets that structured with people being around him.
For the past 2 weeks, the Sioux City School District has been holding classes in the hybrid model, with students attending school 2 days a week. But come Tuesday, that all changes when students return to on-site in-person learning 5 days a week.
That follows direction that was given to the district by the governor's office and the Department of Education to watch specific metrics. And those metrics have been fluctuating a little, but have stayed within acceptable ranges.
School officials are working with the Siouxland District Health Department to keep an eye on the 14-day average positivity rate. As of Thursday in Woodbury County, it's at 11.4%. But if that number begins to rise, the district may make some changes.
There may be times where we need to deal with a specific classroom or a building or something like that, but the district as a whole will open up for that on-site instruction next week.
But in order for the district to stay up and running and continue in-person learning, Gosman is asking students, staff, and administrators to follow the guidelines.
Social distancing, making sure that we're 6 feet apart at all times. We do have a mask mandate in this district. We expect all students and staff to wear masks unless there is an instructional reason.
I'm just really glad that they're going back to the 5 days. I mean, it'll be good for all kids to get back on a routine.
But not every family has decided to go back to the classroom this school year. Gosman says he has 25 to 35% of families inside the school district just sticking with virtual learning this year. And if your family wants to follow suit, they can do so by contacting your child's school office and letting them know you're wanting to make that transition by the end of the week. Live in the newsroom, Marina Bach, KCAU 9 News.
All right, thanks so much, Marina. And as school resumes in Iowa, districts already dealing with COVID-19 cases are having to quarantine students, teachers, and their staff. In response, the Iowa State Education Association partnered up with the already established website Iowa COVID-19 Tracker that is to provide a tracker of these cases now across our state.
In the end, when it became pretty clear that the state of Iowa wasn't going to inform communities about positives in schools like they were already doing with long-term care facilities, it became a natural working relationship for me to be able to track that, put it up on the website, provide a Google map as well so that everyone can go look at it.
Sarah Willett, a data scientist at Iowa State, launched this tracker at first to keep track of data across the state she believes is easier to read and understand, that is, than the Iowa Department of Public Health's website. But now not only is she keeping track of cases in Iowa, specifically in our schools as well now. ISEA says this partnership with Willett was born out of the absence of reliable data coming from the state and believes it will be beneficial now for all school districts.
We thought it would be beneficial for all of our school districts to have accurate information regarding the outbreaks across the state, not only countywide and statewide, but also in our school systems. And so this is data that we feel will be reliable and will be pertinent information that everyone can use to make the correct decisions for their local communities.
The tracker relies on information from news outlets that confirm positive cases, but also heavily relies on self-reports. Willett says anyone can submit a case or classrooms, quarantine, and she will actually reach out to school districts to confirm the information to ensure it is accurate. Daily hospital admissions, total hospitalizations, and the number of patients in the ICU have all been rising now since early July in Iowa. Local hospitals have seen a gradual increase in hospitalized patients during July and August. Healthcare facilities say they are preparing now for another surge in the coming months. Statewide, more than 3,000 inpatient beds are available. That is just 38% of the total number of hospital beds. The biggest growth in cases in Iowa involves adults between the ages of 18 and 40. Positive cases within that age group have soared nearly 50% this week. Now for a quick check on Siouxland's latest COVID-19 numbers. Woodbury County health officials reporting 34 new cases today. There are 23 people currently hospitalized due to the virus. Across the river, Dakota County officials reporting 9 new positive COVID-19 tests in the last 24 hours. The county has reported 74 cases over the past 2 weeks. And in South Dakota, Clay County reporting 205 active cases today. Meanwhile, Yankton County reports 74 active cases. Tyson Foods says it's planning to open medical clinics at several of its U.S. plants to improve the health of workers and better protect them from the virus. 7 Tyson plants, including one in Storm Lake, will be the first to receive these new clinics. There will be no charge to employees and their families for most of the services there. And the wind has picked up a bit, but still a pleasant day across Siouxland. Scott, let's check in now for the latest forecast overnight.
Sophie, we had some of those strongest gusts during the morning hours today. That's when we saw those peak at about 40 miles per hour in Siouxland, getting up to 40 in Norfolk, Nebraska, 39 in Sioux City. And you'd also find that we had some strong gusts around Storm Lake, Denison, and Yankton, all coming in at about 30 miles per hour. It was on the cooler side of average today. That wind was from the northwest, so you can see that shaved down the temperature into the 70s throughout most of the area here. The high temperature in Sioux City today at 76. Tonight is going to be beautiful. Temperatures falling to about 50, but some more heat is coming our way for the weekend. We'll go into further detail coming up with the 9 on 9. Sophie?
Just a taste of fall. Thanks, Scott. Well, a Dakota County jury now deciding the fate of a Nebraska man accused of killing and dismembering another man back in 2016. The jury heard a final round of witnesses in closing statements. This is the trial of Andre Serber and the death of Craig Kubik of Emerson. Serber faces charges of first-degree murder, but the jurors also have the option now of finding guilty of second-degree murder and manslaughter. Now the jury scheduled to deliberate until 9 o'clock tonight. If they cannot reach a verdict by then, they'll be sequestered until 9 in the morning, when deliberations are set to resume. KCAU 9 will be monitoring tonight's proceedings in case of any updates. After COVID-19, construction and power outages kept them closed. A Sioux City bowling alley officially welcoming folks back tonight. KCAU 9 News reporter Hannah Adamson live at the Plaza Bowl and has more for us. Hannah?
Well, Sophie, after more than 5 months of closed doors, the Plaza Bowl, as you can see behind me, is finally back in business and back in style. I can't wait to show you what's on the inside, because since they've been closed, they've added many new amenities and additions to the inside of their building, such as new lighting, flooring, seating areas, scoring, you name it. Now, due to COVID-19 restrictions, only league bowlers are allowed into the building over the next couple of hours. So if you want to go bowling tonight and you're part of the general public, the doors open for you at 9, and you're going to want to make sure you get there early because capacity is limited. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll get to see the inside of the new and improved Plaza Bowl and what new health protocols you should know about before you get those bowling shoes on. Reporting live from the Plaza Bowl in Sioux City, Hannah Adamson, KCAU 9 News.
All right, thanks, Hannah. Looking forward to that. Well, political signs and lawns are, of course, common, especially now that we're just weeks away from a general election. But an Iowa woman says she has been threatened in an unusual way because of her yard signage. We'll explain more coming up.
Summertime weather for the weekend. High temperatures looking to rise into the 90s, but a major cool down for next week with a good chance of rain, too. We'll talk about that in the 9 on 9 forecast. It's up next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News.
Here's a look then at the 9 on 9 forecast. It shows that we will have some enormous changes for next week. 91 on Saturday, 92 degrees the high temperature on Sunday with nice sunny skies. You can see that we'll start to have some changes occur on Labor Day Monday, a 30% chance of some showers late in the day, and the temperature will also begin to cool off some with a high of 80. Just 66 for Tuesday of next week with a good chance of rain, and you can also find that overnight low temperatures will be falling into the 40s. 69 the high temperature on Wednesday with a 20% chance of a carryover of a shower or two, and then it looks like we'll dry things out once again as we move into next weekend with highs in the middle to upper 70s. Some pretty nice fall time weather to look forward to as we close out the 9 on 9.
You know it's fall when you have 90s on the board, and then a few days later you have 60s on the board.
Yeah, quite a disturbance there, and it looks like we'll also cash in on some good rain for a change too. Again, that's been hard to come by this year,
Yeah,
so
we really need that.
yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed there.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. Well, in the age of social media, unusual threats are unfortunately more common, but it's less common to get a strange death threat offline. Why an Iowa woman says she was threatened with a skull. Next. Welcome back. Police in Cedar Falls, Iowa, investigating what might be a death threat made against a local Trump supporter. On Monday morning, she says she found that skull with threatening messages on it next to her political signs in her yard. Ethan Stein tonight has the details.
A Cedar Falls woman woke up to find this skull on her lawn. It contains many swear words, references to President Donald Trump, and on the back, a message: "I hope you die before you vote." It was found on Anita Keeve's lawn and says it's not stopping her from displaying her support for the Republican Party.
Well, it's not right to try to intimidate me and my family for me choosing to exercise my right for freedom of speech.
We asked her more questions, but this was the only response she gave us.
It's not right to try to intimidate me and my family because I choose to exercise my freedom of speech.
She did show us a GoFundMe page. The Black Hawk Republican Party created it to fund cameras at her house. It raised less than $300 as of this afternoon. Cedar Falls police say they've heard about people stealing campaign signs, but this is the first time they've seen intimidation this election season like the skull.
I don't usually see that.
Larry Wilson was walking around the neighborhood when we found him. He says it's normally quiet.
People have various signs around, whether it be Democrat or Republican, and, you know, that's about it. But you don't see anything like, you know, skulls and with those type of comments written on it as well.
But those comments aren't affecting Anita from displaying her ballot.
Now, the skull appears to be one of the plastic Halloween type. Cedar Falls police have not said whether or not they have any suspects in this case or what any potential charges against them might be. Well, after a pretty successful week, one of high school football's pairs of Siouxland games called off for tomorrow night. Jake has more on what games and what it means coming up in sports.
Aaron Kennedy and Rick Exline, and 2,000 words currently has 15-1 odds. 1,000 words is the latest in a long line of strong Albaugh family stable horses. Dennis Albaugh says he has some pretty high hopes for his 3-year-old this weekend.
I really feel our best chance of winning the Kentucky Derby is coming up here in a couple days because this horse is mature in its right time. He got a few, since the race got delayed till September 5th compared to the first week in May, he got a little more time to mature, and I think, and he's peaking at the right time. So I feel very good about this chance. And yes, we've had in 5 years, we've had 4 horses at the Kentucky Derby, which is an unheard of. I think it sets a record. That's unheard to have that many, and so we couldn't be happier.
So things starting to get a little bit more normal. We get the Derby back this weekend, and now fans have somebody to root for and maybe lay a bet down for. 50-1 odds ain't bad.
That's not bad at all, and it's so strange to have the Derby this time of year, but I don't think anything's normal about sports or even horse racing this year.
No, but, you know, inching closer. Baby steps.
We're getting there. All right, thanks a lot. And we'll check in for a final look at the forecast, but first, let's take a quick look outside right now from Orange City. Of course, with live TV, we can't perfectly time things, but there is a sailboat. You can kind of still see it there for our viewers.
Trying to point it out there.
Yeah, beautiful day to be outside, as you mentioned. There is a breeze, and those temperatures feeling really comfortable.
Yeah, strong breeze outside today, but it was nice with the sunshine, and it looks like tonight we'll see our temperatures fall into the upper 40s. Tomorrow, a high of 88, so a warm and sunny start to the weekend. Moving through Saturday and Sunday, it looks like highs will advance into the 90s, but some big changes coming next week with a good chance of rain and temperatures falling off into the 60s.
We need that rain. Thanks a lot, Scott. And that does it for us here at 6, but I'll see you back here tonight at 10. Until then, have a great evening, everyone.